Welcome back, everyone. It's time for another Intrigue Journal with Sean Paul.
I was born with that one. That one's just built in.
It is. You got it naturally.
Yes.
Sean Paul, I'm glad that Halloween fell on an Intrigue Journal day.
Oh, man, me too.
Perfect.
Perfect. It is perfect.
Excellent.
Yes. What are you going to intrigue us with today?
Well, tonight is the big night. Halloween. We're hosting a seance at the Crescent Hotel tonight. We're almost sold out. I think we have 15 tickets left. If you want to join us tonight, reserveeureka.com. It's going to be amazing at 9 o'clock. And we're going to do part show and then part seance. Okay. And this is like our 8th year doing it. It's amazing. It really is. We get all kinds of really crazy organic results from that room. It's just,
I bet.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And on that note, I have the great fortune of having many intriguing friends.
Aww.
Right? And there's one guy that I've known for 25 years, and his name is Michael Bodine. And he is an author. He's actually a member of a family they're all psychic. They're all psychic, and he's written 2 books. One's called A Psychic's Life, and the other one's called Growing Up Psychic. And I encourage you to check these books out. Go to Amazon and pick them up. They're very entertaining, and there's talk about making one of them into a movie.
Okay.
And it's real easy for him because he's got a lot of great connections because he is like a psychic to the stars.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's not like he just says it and he's making things up. I've actually been with him when he's doing a psychic consultation, and he'll say, hey, so-and-so, and I can't say their names.
Right.
But their names everybody would have heard of. He goes, can you say hi to my friend? And he hands me the phone, and I'm talking to this person I was watching on TV as a kid and whatnot.
Wow, that's great.
And I've met people out in L.A. when we were out there together, and he's amazing. And he's got stories that would just blow your mind. We have a lot of amazing things that happen in Intrigue Theater, but when he tells a story, it literally could be a movie. Wow. All right? Okay. And he's not making this stuff up because there's been like 10, 20 years gone from the first time I heard him told it to like just recently, and it's very consistent.
Was he one of those that didn't want anybody to know about it at first when he was young?
Well, that would be in his book, Growing Up Psychic, and yeah, he was very conflicted.
Well, yeah, I can see how.
Yeah.
I can also read minds, too, just so you know.
Really?
I know what you're thinking right now.
What is that?
You're thinking I can't read minds.
Yes. He's exactly right. That's exactly right. Okay, so if he's got stories that could be in a movie, I asked him about something. You know, like one of my scariest movies, didn't have a lot of special effects, but it just got into my mind, was Paranormal Activity. Did you see that movie?
I was literally so scared. I had to sleep with the lights on for at least a week. I could not stay in my house by myself after I saw that movie.
That
I'm not
movie,
even kidding you.
I'm actually getting chills just thinking.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No,
It is
I can't watch
horrible.
that stuff. No.
But yet there's no special effects, but it just gets into your mind.
It does.
And so I asked him. Now it's low lighting, but he's very entertaining. And I asked him, what is it like? How does this stuff stack up to reality? Oh, and by the way, if you have any issues with the supernatural or the paranormal or ghosts, he has some very comforting advice about that subject that we'll be leading up to in a moment. But first of all, let's get his take on some of these things we see in the movies. Okay. Let's go ahead. Michael Bodine. So, but let's talk about the Paranormal Activity movies.
Yeah.
They're freaky.
Well, they're funny.
Okay,
they're funny. Yeah, they're you know, and I get it. You know, the problem with ghostbusting is they're really boring. They're really boring. You go to most ghostbustings, the walls aren't bleeding. You know, things are pretty stable, except, you know, little Johnny hears somebody or somebody taps him on the shoulder and he freaks out and they're ready to move, you know. Sometimes you go in and the walls are bleeding and things are shaking and moving around, but that doesn't happen that often. And when it does, it's interesting, but it's not scary. It's just like, okay, nice show, and I ain't gonna clean up the blood, but here, I can get you out of here, you know. Yeah. The problem I have is that they're sensationalizing stuff, and that it just doesn't happen like that.
Hickman, I saw it.
It's right here, Ray. It's looking at me.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
I think he can hear you, Ray.
It just doesn't. I mean, every once in a while, stuff will happen.
Well, what about that you know, them videotaping themselves when they're sleeping, and she
That's
gets up
funny.
and stands next to him and just rocks back and forth for hours? Okay.
I wish to God I would have come up with that idea. Now, I've woken up to having spirits standing over me. I've woken up to having...
But that's not something Katie would see.
Well, she gets freaked out when I've woken her up a couple times screaming at ghosts, telling them to get out. Because they'll stand at the end of the bed. And I wake up and it's like, get out, you know. And you guys leave. And she'll wake up. And then she'll be like, I ain't going to the bathroom by myself. And we get a lot of stuff that happens around here all the time. We're used to it. The kids and I are pretty used to it. The dogs, they still have an issue with it. The cats see them all the time. There's constantly stuff going on.
But they're not able to physically...
See them?
No. The spirits aren't able to physically touch...
Touch,
people.
yeah, sure. They touch us.
Yeah, I was standing there and I felt like something brush on my neck. I thought it was my hair, and I kind of moved and my hair wasn't there. So then I took a couple steps to the other side of the jail, thinking maybe it was the wind, and I felt it again.
Right, but I mean, in that movie, they jumped into the little girl's body, and or somebody's body got dragged out of bed. Did you see that?
That is so dumb.
That was really freaky.
Yeah, but that's so dumb. If that was true, it would be anarchy. There would be ghosts doing that stuff all the time.
Right.
And it would be a constant battle. And that's just not true. It's just not true. It's what is true though is that sometimes people, like, there's this woman that I'm supposed to go ghost busting with, and she gets just drunk, and then she lets these spirits in her, and then she'll sit there, and all of a sudden you'll see scratches on her face.
Are you kidding?
No, all this demonic stuff, and priests and shaman are flying out the door going, oh my God! and really all it is she's getting drunk and letting these things come in. And I won't go out and do it until she sobers up.
He's a very interesting guy.
Yes.
In fact, you could talk to him for 2 or 3 whole
Stop
shows.
it! Jeremy.
Okay,
But
so
that does freak me out. I'm just telling you.
right, and he was just saying that people, if they get inebriated or whatever, sometimes they can let these things in. He said that Ouija boards and things like that, that's a portal to let things
That's
in.
why I don't have one.
That's why I don't.
Right.
I've never messed with that stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Don't do it.
So
No.
he is fascinating. So, but he doesn't just do ghost bustings. He also does exorcisms.
Oh.
So those are real. He says those are real. Like you can be demon
Absolutely.
possessed.
Oh, I'll double down on
Oh.
this. I know somebody else completely unrelated to Michael Bodine. He's a pastor. He went to seminary, and the person that he learned from was of the clergy in St. Louis.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
And they were involved in that epic story that led to the movie The Exorcist.
Oh,
Oh wow.
And so I asked him, and by the way, so this pastor that I know that talked to the guy that was involved in that, they would ask him in seminary about it, and he would not talk about it.
No, I don't blame him.
Wouldn't talk about it. And I asked Michael about that. This is really quick.
Okay.
Won't even talk about it.
Yeah,
Doesn't want to talk about it.
it's one of those things you don't really talk about.
So, and I mean, if that's coming from a pretty conservative individual, Catholic priest or whatever, that probably does give some credibility to the whole.
Well,
I mean, obviously, I don't think some lady, her head spun around and
that would be tough. I mean,
crab walked down the stairs and then threw up all over everybody. And
chiropractic bills alone.
right.
Wow. Yeah, no, that doesn't usually happen. And if it does, it's very entertaining. Because if you can get somebody to get their head to spin and say Satan is king, you gotta be impressed. They would do stuff to try and scare you, do stuff to get under your ghost.
So you have seen a little bit of that?
Absolutely. You know what it's all about? It's all about faith. If you really believe that there's a higher power, you're good, you're golden. Because you know that you're protected, you know that you're going to be okay no matter what. If you have doubts, or if you're thinking that this negative thing is more powerful than the positive,
It's game on for the ghosts.
yeah, then you're screwed. Then you're kind of like dancing, holy crap, because they play off of that. They will play off your fears. It's dark versus light, and it's It's the people that are uncertain or that believe that the dark has power over them that are in for a long night. They tend to run out, with their arms flailing and going, "Oh my God!" But having been around long enough, you kind of see some of the loopholes. And one of them is to know that when you're walking in with God, and there's no situation in which you're in danger.
Yeah, well,
Amen to that.
Amen to that. Like I said last year when we did all this down in the morgue.
Yes, we were at the Crescent Hotel, Kelly and I.
And I just with the higher power, I'm just like, I know that there's stuff around me. I don't want to see it. Just protect me, and I'm good.
Okay, but people just have these experiences at the Crescent
Right.
Hotel. I don't think there's going to be any kind of malicious experience.
No. Oh, no.
And you need our comfort now. We're going to have a little watch party after the show, and we're going to watch Paranormal Activity.
Okay, with Kelly.
With Kelly.
Oh, really? No, we're not. Okay, we'll be back, and things get a little bit messy.
Yes, wait, hold on. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Is that the right